I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 1 of the World Series, where the Astros played the Atlanta Braves and lost 6-2. Boy, oh boy, this was an embarrassing game for the Houston Astros. Willikers, another game where the starter can barely make it past the second and gives up a ton of runs. Where have I seen this script before? Oh, wait! Game 2 of the ALDS. Game 3 of the ALDS. Game 1, 2, and 3 of the ALCS. Gee, almost like there's a pattern! Just awful tonight. Awful, awful, awful. Starting pitching by Framber Valdez. Not good. 5 runs in 2 innings. Rough, to say the least. Bullpen, incredible. You feel so bad for the bullpen. It's been so good this entire postseason, and they're just not getting rewarded for it as much as they should be. Like, they have had so many lockdown performances where one of our starters has just been blown up in the first or second inning, and then the bullpen has come in to completely lock it down. And tonight, again, 7 innings for the bullpen, 1 run given up. That's great. 6 runs total as a staff isn't what you're looking for normally, but in a World Series, that's a very winnable game. The offense did not show up. The starting pitching by Framber was bad. It's kind of a theme at this point. What's funny is this is maybe like the 3rd worst loss we've had this postseason to this point. Maybe not even the 3rd. It might be the 4th. I mean, Game 3 of the ALDS was hilarious. Game 2 and 3 of the ALCS were also just embarrassing. This might be the 4th. Like, it's honestly pretty low on the list, but it was also not great. Let's talk about the offense. It was bad. Altuve, I love him. 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts. Bad night. Bregman, 0 for 4, pair of strikeouts. Bad night. Jordan, he was 1 for 3 with a walk, so he was okay. Correa, 0 for 3, 1 walk. Not ideal. Had a ground out that scored a run. I guess that's something. Realistically, the guys that showed up tonight. Brantley, 3 for 5. He had a good night. Tucker had a pretty nice night, but his is kind of conflicting. Yuli had a great night. 2 for 4. Pretty big. Tucker's night is a little bit conflicted. I mentioned that. 2 for 4. But when he had the bases loaded in the first inning with a chance to make the Astros, get back into the game, he just couldn't. And that sort of brings us to this. The Astros were not able to capitalize tonight. 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, 9 men left on base. That is going to win you nothing. Nothing in the regular season, especially nothing in the postseason. That is a unacceptable evening to go 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. I'm sorry, it just is. What's also kind of unacceptable is the fact that Framber gave up 5 runs in the first 2 innings. He started the 3rd, gave up the 2-run shot. I don't know why you put him out there for that. I don't know why after the first base hit you didn't immediately pull him, but there are a lot of questions we could ask ourselves, and probably will not be answered. But by the 3rd inning, you could pretty much read the writing on the walls and tell that this game was kind of just a little bit over. It was over. You can only imagine that by like the 3rd or 4th inning, Maldonado and Odorizzi were already just starting to write out their speech for tonight's player meeting. Hey, Maldi, what are you writing? Oh, I'll scream it to you later on, don't you worry. So yeah, Framber was bad. After that, Yimi Garcia, great inning of work, pair of strikeouts, didn't allow anyone on base. Jake Odorizzi was just masterful this evening. 2 1/3, 1 hit, 5 strikeouts, no walks. Great evening for him. Phil Maton looked shaky, but got out of it. Inning, pair of hits and a walk given up, but a pair of strikeouts, so he looked shaky, but saved it, so that's a positive. Stanek looked interesting, gave up a run, had one of the most embarrassing plays you'll ever see, where I don't know how to describe it other than he tried to play it after Yuli decided he wasn't going to, and then just kind of tripped and, when you start to drop something and you just start flailing your limbs at it, hoping magically you're going to kick it up into the air and then grab it. That's sort of how it looked. It was it was embarrassing for everyone on the field, and I can only assume that the pitchers who try to say, hey, we're athletes too, went, you're not helping. To be fair, I'm not even sure if he was pulled after that for playing and, game reasons, or if it was just like, man, you gotta go sit in the dugout. You can't face anyone after that. Brooks really came in. He looked pretty darn solid, got a strikeout. Some nice weak contact from him. He had a good outing. But man, oh man, tonight was just a rough evening. It was just a snoozer after that third inning when you pretty much knew it was over. The Astros, I mean, they got a pair after that, but it was not a good night. Now, all of that done and out of the way, this series is nowhere near over, right? Don't get down. This loss is nowhere near as bad as Game 3 of the ALDS, Game 2 of the ALCS, or Game 3 of the ALCS. Nowhere near any of those losses. Those were horrifically deflating, and then we had to, the next night after those losses, still face the opposing team in their home stadium. Tomorrow night, we once again get the home confines of Minute Maid. Was tonight a very important game to win? Yeah, it was. Guess what? You didn't win it. Got to move on to the next one. We play tomorrow. That is a must-win game now. But again, this is nowhere near as bad as those losses. And the Astros have shown in the past few seasons that we can come back from being down in series. I am not that concerned. I really think tonight we're going to have another good talking to. We're going to get our heads out of our you-know-whats. Go in tomorrow strong. We're going to have Urquidy on the mound. Hopefully he can fill up the strike zone in a good way. And I mean, the series is not over. You also have the, I feel like a piece of human trash saying advantage, but Charlie Morton fractured his right fibula with the line drive. I believe it was Yuli Gurriel that hit it to him, and then a pitch to, I want to say Altuve, where he landed kind of funny on it. He is out for the World Series. He will be back to next season, fine, but for this series, he is definitely gone, which is, again, I don't want to say it's an advantage, but with their ace gone, and now realistically the only real starter in the rotation is Fried and Anderson, there's no reason with their bullpen having to now take on a big part of the workload, you should be able to win the series. I don't want to say there's no excuse, but that changes quite a bit of it. The key thing about baseball is even after a really bad defeat like tonight, you got a chance to rebound tomorrow. I really think we will. I wholeheartedly, 100% think the Astros are going to win tomorrow. I think Urquidy is going to have a very nice start. I think the Astros offense is going to pop off. I think the first inning is going to be a big inning tomorrow night. I just got that good feeling. I really do. Tomorrow, Game 2 at 8:09 Eastern, 7:09 Central. They send Max Fried to the mound. We send Jose Urquidy to the mound, the strike-throwing king himself, in what is kind of feeling like a must-win Game 2, because you really don't want to go to Atlanta down 0-2, especially the way that they have been in Atlanta this year. I don't want to try to solve that Rubik's Cube in a series where you're already down 0-2. Anyway, 8:09 Eastern, 7:09 Central. I'll be here about 10 minutes before game time for the stream, and tomorrow evening I will be here for, the recap. So, if you enjoyed this video, or the stream, or both, please consider subscribing. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.